Oh, hey there. Sorry. I didn't notice you. I thought you were watching one of the other. Oh, is it my turn? Oh, well, great. Great. How was your week? Was it good? That's fantastic. That's amazing. Yeah. Weren't all the other presenters just really, really great? Luria and Adrian and Stephanie and Ian Anderson Gray and yeah, everybody. I was just thrilled to be a part of the Leap into Live streaming boot camp. And I'm actually really honored to be your martini shot. Do you not know what a martini shot is? Okay. Well, my name is David H. Lawrence XVII, and I'm an actor here in Los Angeles. And part of acting lore is the notion that the very last shot of the very last day of the production is called the martini shot. And it's called the martini shot because when you're done with that, everybody can go get a martini. Huh? Apparently, when that phrase was coined, everyone who worked in Hollywood was an alcoholic. Not sure that that's changed. But I do love being the cap on this. You know, we spend so much time worrying about the lights and the camera and the microphone and the gear and the systems and the production and the editing and, you know, the streaming and the internet and all that stuff. And we tend to forget that what people really want from us, all that other stuff is really important. And what you've learned this past week is certainly a key part of everything that we do. But I think sometimes people get lost in the idea that that's what's important and not the humanity that we have. That's what the viewer really wants. They want to know you as a person, not you as the expert with the camera, right? And I'm going to give you the full story after I share this with you, but I just got finished doing a lesson for a course that I didn't think I was going to be putting together over the last month, but I found myself doing it. It's sort of my King Lear. You know, I don't know if you know this, but Shakespeare wrote King Lear during his isolation and sheltering in place during the Black Plague. And, you know, I was like, what can I do? I've got other things to do. I've got plenty of things to do, but there's nobody calling for auditions right now. There's no on-camera production going on. And then I found out the teachers were being sent home from the now closed schools and being told almost offhandedly, hey, you know what? Keep teaching your classes from home, right? You know how to do that YouTube thing, right? That, what is it called, Mildred? Facebook something? Facebookgram? Okay, whatever. You know what it is. So when you go home, still teach your students. School year is going to continue. Don't stop teaching. Okay, bye-bye. No training. No prep. No, here's what are the right tools to use. Here's how to connect. Here's how to keep your kids safe from Zoom bombing. So I decided to put a course together called Teach Your Course Online. And yeah, I show you how to use cameras and lights and microphones and all that stuff, Zoom. But what I also do is teach you how to just be you on camera. And that's what this lesson is all about. And after you watch the lesson, I'm going to share with you how I introduce this to the world and how I want you to have it as well for free. Yeah. This is lesson number 13 in Teach Your Course Online. It's called Framing and Presentation. As you teach your course, how you come across to your students will be based on how you manage your relationship with the camera. I know that getting on camera can be a daunting, scary thing for almost everyone, as it puts you in a very vulnerable position. You can worry about things like your hair or your lack of hair, your words, your equipment, even what to do with your hands or your eyes. You can be afraid of coming off as amateurish, unskilled, or not believable. You might worry about making a really embarrassing mistake while live on the air with no chance for a do-over. I have some really good news for you. No one really cares if you're not perfect. No one. Just the opposite, in fact. Being absolutely perfect and mistake-free can come off as plastic and manufactured and false. What your audience values and cares about is your own humanity. And they're rooting for you and hoping that you're a real person, not a Barbie or Ken doll. They're there, watching you because they value you and they value what you have to say. They don't care if you're not perfect, and they actually will find the human quality of your imperfection to be endearing and attractive. I teach my performance clients that there are 3 basic attributes of doing great camera work when teaching online via video. I call them the 3 A's. They are agility, authority, and authenticity. Agility is being able to confidently have all your ducks in a row and knowing your subject matter cold and being able to rely on all your gear and your processes to quickly get what you want to say out of your brain, through your mouth, and onto a recording successfully. I want you to be able to answer, yeah, if someone asks you to speak on your subject at the very last minute, to fill in for someone who canceled or a delay in the proceedings. Hopefully this course has given you more of that, especially with your gear, as you find and come to trust the right equipment and processes for teaching your course online. Authority comes from your knowledge, your training, your problem-solving ability, and your confidence. And that comes across without you having to do much else other than enthusiastically and joyously sharing your content. More than just parroting information, when you show you can use your knowledge in hundreds of new and different ways to solve unexpected challenges, well, your authority starts shining. And you have authority in bunches when you can speak in front of a live class. And speaking in front of a camera can be exactly the same. There's no special adjustment you need to make to your authority just because you're being recorded. Authenticity comes across naturally from your experience and your mindset and your humanity and your inner joy and passion. And it's actually the one attribute of the 3 A's that trips almost everyone up when they first start out on camera. And the reason for that is simple. They are confusing polished perfection with audience approval. They think they have to look and sound exactly like the presenters and hosts and reporters and anchors and panelists and guests they see on network television. But they don't. And you don't. You just need to be you. Now, I'm going to put aside the agility A for this particular lesson because I feel I'm giving you dozens of ways to be more agile with every lesson in this course. Agility is more of a horizontal skill, applicable and baked into each of the lessons you've taken. What I want to concentrate on is some physical things that you can put into play to increase the other 2, your authority and authenticity, and to help you get out of your own way and let the inner you shine. So here are some guidelines for projecting authority and authenticity to your on-camera work. First up, a very simple choice that once you make it, you never really have to worry about it again, and that's how you frame yourself on camera. We touched on it in the camera classes, but let's revisit that and get you properly framed. Framing is one of the most basic, powerful, and best of all, simplest things you can do to look great on camera. Start with putting your camera on a tripod, not on your computer's screen or on your desk. And set your camera to shoot you exactly at eye level, whether seated or standing. Don't shoot up at yourself or down from above, even slightly. When choosing how far away to place your camera or how far to zoom in or out with the lens, you want to end up framing your head and shoulders like I am, with about a golf ball space above your head. Don't leave a lot of headroom above you. Nobody should care about how beautiful your background is. And don't cut off the top of your head. Now, the exception would be if you're framing yourself to see both you and what you're doing, writing, drawing, demonstrating when you're working on a whiteboard, or if you're moving around with a physical process. I prefer to frame myself with what cinematographers call the rule of thirds. You don't place yourself in the exact middle of your screen in an attempt to be balanced somehow. That's actually less interesting visually than it is to move slightly to camera right, like I am. Don't try to be dead center in the image people see. It also leaves you space to the viewer's left to add graphics and titles and other elements if you want to, and it actually looks fine even when there's nothing there at all. If you teach your course seated like I do, twist your chair clockwise by about 20 degrees, and move your left shoulder forward. This slight adjustment gives you an interesting angle on the lens and adds to your image of authority. Makes you look more relaxed. Think of talk shows that you see on TV and where the host sits and how the host addresses the content and the guests. Very occasionally, that pattern is changed up, but the go-to position is using the rule of thirds and not being dead straight on into the lens. Turn slightly. So why camera right? Why turn slightly to the right? Because in Western culture, we tend to read and follow things from left to right, which, when we frame ourselves in the way I've described, allows the viewer to read into our faces. This is a very powerful visual connection. Reading out of someone's face toward the left is a weaker visual tactic, and it's why the host sits on the right. It's the position of power and control and respect. On 99% of the talk shows, you'll see that. And the guest sits in the position of honor. And when you're a guest on the show, you can do the same thing. Slightly rotate yourself in your chair, and you'll get the same result. Now let's look at some specific camera-related choices. If you've chosen to use your smartphone as your camera, your image will be reversed on your phone's selfie screen. You'll appear on the left if you've set yourself up properly to appear to your viewers' right side on their screens. This is actually to your benefit. It's so your brain doesn't get all wacky confused as to your movements, and to remind you of the very familiar image of yourself you have when you stand in front of a mirror. Your image is reversed there as well. If you've chosen to use a built-in webcam, remember that you'll need to raise your laptop itself to eye level using a laptop stand if you want. I have one that I use that I've linked to below the video. It's about $15, but even a stack of books or a box will do in a pinch. Just be careful not to bump your desk. You might want to put those on a chair behind your desk. If you do elect to use an external webcam and to put it on your laptop screen, don't put it in the exact middle of the edge of the screen. Even though the manufacturer might have used the fact that it would then cover your built-in camera's lens as a lovely beneficial security feature. Rather, slide it toward the right to get that rule of thirds framing. Better yet, so you won't jar the video image if you happen to hit your desk, or if you get movement while typing or using an electronic whiteboard to draw, put your webcam on a tripod that sits just behind your desk, not touching it. A basic tripod is fine, and I linked to a $25 one below this video. Now let's talk about your hands and your eyes. I'm often asked, what the hell do I do with my hands? Well, if you're seated and you're going to do something with your hands, even if it's just talking with your hands, be sure you cheat them up into the visible frame. If you're going to demonstrate something, be sure it can be seen by the viewer, not doing something down here or below the frame that they can't see. And if you're standing and you're wondering what to do with your hands, do I fold my hands? Do I make a church steeple out of them? Do I put them in my pockets? Do I cover my privates? Do I put them behind my back? Do I fold my arms? Let me just put you out of your misery. I'm going to give you a deep, behind-the-scenes, professional broadcaster's secret. Once I tell you this, you'll start to see people doing it on television all the time. You won't be able to not see it. You'll see reporters doing it, standing anchors doing it, presenters, talk show hosts, anyone else who's in the same boat as you and I find ourselves, not having to hold a mic or a prop and wondering what to do with their hands. All right. What you want to do is create a home base for your hands, but not leave them there forever. Use it as a launching platform for the occasional gesture or movement. It may take some getting used to, but it will become second nature after a while. So here's what you do. Start by taking your dominant hand. I'm a right-hander, so I start with my right hand. And with that hand's thumb and first two fingers, lightly grab the ring finger of your opposite hand, and then let both come to rest at your belly button. Leave it there when you're not using your hands. Make whatever natural hand movements you want, and then return back to that home base after those gestures. And don't be afraid to do that. Having a home base for your hands means you have the freedom to make gestures like waves and pointing and open palms and anything else that you'd normally do in everyday life when talking, and knowing exactly what to do with your hands when you're finished. You can even do it when holding a remote, when giving a presentation, or a marker at a whiteboard. So, create a home base for your hands, and don't be afraid to leave and come back to that home base. There you go. I dare you not to notice that the next time you see someone standing and talking on TV. Now, about what to do with your eyes. When looking at the camera, consider the lens to be your favorite student. Personify that tiny portal to your audience with the same human qualities you give a live student. And for extra credit, your eyes will appear to the viewer to be even more accurately focused if you move your gaze slightly to what you perceive to be the back surface of your camera, where the image is actually being captured and recorded, rather than the front of the lens. It's not a very big adjustment on something as thin as a smartphone, but on a DSLR, it can be several inches. Now, this is something that will take practice, but if you're able to do it, your audience will feel very much talked to and with, not talked at. If you happen to be able to see your image on a viewfinder or a monitor or your smartphone's screen, learn to completely ignore it. Don't look at yourself on the screen or at your students if they're visible in a session on the screen. Rather, determine exactly where the camera lens is. It's a tiny little dot. You might even put a little sticky arrow on your phone to help you aim at it. And then commit to speaking directly to the center of the camera lens, giving it your full attention when delivering information. That makes a connection with the viewer, where looking at yourself can become distracting and look slightly self-absorbed. I know you're always seeing everybody else doing it to themselves on TikTok and YouTube and Instagram, but you don't have to. And it will be one of those things that people won't even realize you're doing. They'll just quietly consider you to be really good at connecting with them. But don't lock on the lens or fall prey to the falsehood that you need to completely connect with your students by staring down the barrel of the camera 100% of the time, and that if you don't, you'll lose them. If you're sensitive to foul language, do me a favor, cover your ears for 3 seconds as I share with you an industry phrase we use. This is called eye-fucking the camera, and it is to be avoided at all costs. It's just creepy, and it doesn't make anything close to a connection. It actually makes people a little uncomfortable. Just check in every so often with your surroundings and your experiences, and then back to the lens. And that brings me to something many of us are really uncomfortable doing, and that's remembering our humanity when we're addressing the camera. As humans, we have a pretty standard set of physical timelines that we employ when talking to others in everyday life. Like when we think about the past and visualizing a memory, we often look up and to the left. Yeah, I remember that. Okay. And when we're considering the possibilities for a future, we sometimes look up and to the right. Oh, that might happen. When we're self-aware, we often look down in front of us, not in shame, but in contemplation. When we consider the sound of something that we're familiar with, we often look to the left at eye level, cock our heads. And when we're lost in thought, we often tend to lose focus on the person that we're in conversation with. And then when we've considered it, we snap back. Here is my biggest piece of advice. Don't be afraid to do any of those things. Don't be afraid to bring you to the party and use your lovely, human, imperfect, and messy modes in the conversations you have with your students. The moment you stop trying to be perfect and lean into and embrace your imperfections and human messiness, you'll find people instantly gravitate toward you and connect with you because you're showing them that you're just like them. So, final piece of advice, as much as you think it's not enough, simply be yourself. Not some better version of yourself that you've built on the fly at that moment, but yourself. Nothing more. Give yourself the permission, as hard and as counterintuitive as it might appear to be the exact same lovely, smart, playful, odd, clever, funny, and totally not perfect person you are in real life. You are enough. You have everything you need already inside you. All that you've learned over the years as you've created this lovely life you have for yourself will come into play when you embody your most authentic self, on camera or not. I hope that helps, and I'll see you in the next lesson. So there you go. That's it. Lesson 13, Framing and Presentation from teachyourcourseonline.com. I didn't think, as I said earlier, I didn't think I was going to be creating this course. And I didn't think it was going to go as quickly as it has. I released the course to teachers for free. I was going to charge $49 for it, but I decided to give it away for free. In fact, I had a whole video set up to introduce it and to do a launch and to charge the princely sum of $49 because I figured every teacher could afford that, right? So let me just play the video for you that I created for this, the combination of live streaming and post-production. Just roll that for you. So you're a teacher, and I bet when you started planning the new school year last summer, you probably didn't have on your gotta get this done immediately list, I have to learn exactly how to teach online, exactly what I teach in my classroom. It's going to be very important later this year, but then all this happened. Unprecedented, disastrous developments have taken us completely by surprise, that dominated the news and forced us to take drastic safety measures, shutting down all the businesses, halting the economy, and stopping life as we knew it, closing schools and sending kids and you home. And now we're all sheltering in place, wondering how to simply survive this mess. And then the principal sends you an email. Hey, while you're at home sheltering in place and social distancing and all that, do your best to teach your class online, okay? Good luck. No training. No nothing. I mean, they think everybody knows how to do it, right? But do you know how to do that? Or are you struggling? Teaching over the internet is not a skill that you learn in high school, or even in the education classes you got at university, or a requirement for your certificate. And the simple roadblock for most teachers is knowing where to start in setting things up. Things like setting up their home teaching space, what equipment to purchase to look and sound professional without blowing the budget, or even how to manage your students online to keep them safe, and to teach them the culture and rules of behavior of online learning. Now, if you've been asked to do all that and you don't know where to start, you need help fast, and I'd like to give it to you. Hey there, my name is David H. Lawrence XVII, and I'm a TV and film actor and a performance consultant here in Los Angeles, and I've been teaching voiceover and on-camera presence both in person in a classroom and online via the web for over a decade. Now, what I teach isn't as important as how I teach, because my students are both here and around the world, so I did what your schools may have also done a long time ago. I flipped the classroom, and all my classes are 100% online. I've honed and refined exactly what to use to teach every one of my courses online like a pro, and I can show you how to do it too, and I can show you fast. My friend Tracy, she called me last week. She's one of my audiobook narration students. And she's also a teacher here in LA. She was panicking. She called to pick my brain. What do you know about this? What can you do to help me teach my students online? And that conversation motivated me to not just help her, but to create a course for every teacher who could use some help. So I did. I've been struggling for the last week, working day and night, creating that course. And it's paid off. Imagine if you could simply walk into your home teaching space, throw a few switches to power up your gear, and just confidently sit down and instantly teach your course online? Well, now you can. And when I tell you what exactly to choose to get something done, it's going to be because I use that tool myself. You can use the tools I use. I'll show you how and I'll show you what to get, and you can look and sound really good. My course is called Teach Your Course Online. In a matter of hours, you'll go from zero to hero in online course delivery. You'll learn how to set up your teaching space with all the equipment specified and the links to get exactly what you need. I'll teach you what processes you'll use to teach live with the curriculum and the materials that you already have, and to teach via recorded video and audio as well, so your students can access you whenever they like. You'll even get templates that you can use to give your students a guide to understanding the structure and the expectations you have to keep the classroom productive. Now, because we all need to move quickly, I didn't want to wait. Building a course like this could take weeks or months, but I'm going to be building this plane as we fly it. So I'm starting by releasing the first few lessons right off the bat, and I'm going to be releasing the rest of the lessons as I create them every single day until I'm finished. So join me at the beginning, now, and you'll get them all before anyone else does. See, here's the deal. I've been thinking about doing a course like this for a long time, not just for teachers, but for everyone, actors, business people, everybody. I've been jotting down my notes for a couple of years now. So when I'm finished producing that bigger course that I've been working on, it will be for everyone, not just you, teachers. And it will be $997. And it'll be worth it, trust me. But if you join me now as I'm producing the lessons for this course, tailoring them just for you, for teachers, it's going to be just... sorry, hey, I need to jump in and interrupt myself. I shot this video a couple of days ago, and this is the point in the video where I was just about to tell you that the course was going to cost you all of $49. And in thinking about it, I came to the conclusion that if I really wanted to be effective, if I really wanted to help as many people as possible, what I really needed to do was to set the money aside and give it to you for free. So that's what I'm deciding to do right now. For the next month, grab the course and it's yours for free. Not a free trial. You don't have to pay at the end of the month. It's lifetime access, no strings whatsoever. Now, I do eventually have to make some money on this. So at the end of the month, I'll start charging $49 for it. But if you get the course right now, it's yours for free. And I will say that once you've seen the course, I'd absolutely love it if you would tell as many of your fellow teachers about it as possible while it's free. Look, I think teachers, you, are heroes, plain and simple. And I want to do my part as best as I can. So, thanks. And I hope this helps. And now I return you back to the previously recorded video so you can see how to get the course for free. It's going to be just $47. No hidden fees. That's it. 95% off that bigger course. Just imagine taking what you teach at your school in person in your classroom, rocking that same content online, continuing to serve your students, using this time that we all have, sheltering in place and social distancing ourselves, and using it to help them thrive. And I'll even take you one step further. I bet you have at least one personal joy that I can help you turn into more than a side hustle. You might be a math teacher that happens to know magic, or a chemistry teacher that loves cooking, or a PE teacher that is a yogi on the weekends. You can take what you learn in Teach Your Course Online and not only teach your course students, but then take it up a notch and teach that extracurricular passion you have to the world. Imagine creating your own course with the same equipment and processes that I'll teach you to use for your classroom teaching, having the support of me and your fellow students to help you when you're stuck, and making extra cash for sharing that wisdom. We're all in this together, and I wanted to get this out to as many teachers who needed it as fast as I could, at the lowest cost I could imagine. So for the first few days, it's available. It's just $47. That's it. $47. Nothing else you need to purchase, and you get the lessons as I produce them, before anyone. I also put together a private discussion group to hold monthly office hours in session to answer questions, so I might make that a low-cost option, but it's entirely up to you. You don't have to buy it. There's no pressure. The course is what I want you to have. This is an amazing opportunity to do something really productive with all of the alone time we're all having. You can teach your students, keeping them engaged online, and even teach others what you do best and what you love. And I'm doing this because I want all of us to thrive in this time of stress, uncertainty, and threats to our personal health and well-being. And once this current crisis blows over, the skills you learn will be even more valuable to the student base you serve in that school building and for the new student crowd you can create. Click on the link below, jump right in, and teach your course online. So that's how I was going to introduce it. And what happened was, in a little less than a couple of weeks, over 700 teachers have taken advantage of this. And what I'd love for you to do, if you learned anything in the lesson that I played for you, if you learned anything from that video, if I've helped you in the past, please share with a teacher in your family, your friends, whatever, the link, teachyourcourseonline.com. It's going to be free now through May 15th, not May 8th. I know I said that in the video, but then last week I did a Facebook Live using Ecamm Live with Drew Carey, and I decided let's go a little bit further. And the reason is that the National PTA is doing Teacher Appreciation Week starting Monday, the 4th of May, going through next Friday. And I wanted to take advantage of that, so I'm going to keep it going through May 15th. And for you, all of the things that I teach in this course, you can apply to live streaming. So I'd love for you to have it for free as well. And you know, a lot of people are offering things free here, totally transparent, to get you to buy something. I don't have anything to get you to buy. I just want you to have the course for free. I'm not saying that's better than what they're doing. They have very valuable things to offer, and I want you to take advantage of it if you can use it. But I'm basically saying I'm bereft. I don't have anything to upsell you. I just have this course, and I'd love for you to take advantage of it. And I'd really love for you to share it with teachers, with principals, with school board administrators, with professors, with deans. It's good for primary, secondary, post-secondary, college, university, anybody who teaches. And not just those teachers, but you. You teach something, I'm sure, because you wouldn't be watching this if not. So, teachyourcourseonline.com. I'm David H. Lawrence the 17th. I thank you so much for watching, and I hope you had a great time this week into the Leap into Live streaming bootcamp.